As parents, it's natural to want the best for your children. But have you ever stopped to wonder, could your generosity, no matter how well-intentioned, be doing more harm than good? Let's dive into the story of Elena, a loving mother with a big heart, and the life-changing lessons she discovered. Don't forget like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring content. Hit the bell icon to stay updated. Your support makes all the difference. When generosity becomes a barrier, Elena, newly retired and filled with excitement, wanted to give her children, Carlos, Anna, and Luis, a head start in life. She planned to share her savings and property, convinced that this would secure their future and happiness. But her wise neighbor, Don Javier, offered a gentle yet profound warning. Sometimes, giving too much is like overwatering a plant. Instead of helping it grow, you might end up suffocating it. At first, Elena brushed off his words, confident that her generosity came from a place of love. However, the events that followed proved Don Javier's wisdom to be more accurate than she could have imagined. What happens when love and giving cross the line into enabling? Elena's journey will reveal the surprising answer, one that every parent needs to hear. Stay tuned, because the lessons she learned might just change the way you think about giving to your children. 1. The trap of easy money, a lesson in parenting and responsibility. Elena, a loving mother and recent retiree, wanted to give her children the best chance at happiness. With her savings carefully set aside, she decided to make a generous gesture to her eldest son, Carlos. Her hope was simple yet profound: to see him flourish and chase his dreams without the burden of financial stress. "I'm doing this for you, Carlos," she said with a warm smile, handing him a significant sum of money. "Go and make your dreams come true." Carlos, overwhelmed with gratitude, saw the gift as a golden ticket to freedom. For years, he had felt trapped in a monotonous job that drained his spirit. Now, with this unexpected windfall, the possibilities seemed endless. He decided to quit his job, thinking, "Why should I work so hard when life has suddenly become so easy?" At first, the money felt like a blessing. Carlos indulged in the freedom he had always craved, traveling, buying luxuries, and enjoying life without a care in the world. For a while, it seemed like Elena's generous act was the best decision she had ever made. But as the weeks turned into months, the initial euphoria began to fade. Without the structure and purpose that his job had provided, Carlos found himself aimless. Days stretched endlessly before him, devoid of meaning. He no longer felt the pride of earning his own way, or the satisfaction of overcoming challenges. The very gift that was meant to set him free had, instead, become a gilded cage. This phenomenon is far from rare. In fact, it's so common that psychologists have given it a name: the rich heir syndrome. According to Dr. Roy Williams, author of Preparing Your Kids for $1 Billion, a staggering 70% of wealthy families lose their wealth by the second generation, and 90% by the third. The reason? Easy money, when given without the tools to manage it, can rob people of resilience, ambition, and the ability to navigate life's inevitable hardships. The downward spiral of easy money. Carlos's story is a cautionary tale for many. What started as a dream come true began to unravel quickly. Without financial discipline or a sense of purpose, Carlos's spending spiraled out of control. Luxuries that once brought him joy became mundane, and his desire for instant gratification grew insatiable. He started avoiding challenges, believing money could solve all his problems. When friends came to him for help, he generously gave, hoping to buy their admiration. But over time, these relationships soured, as people began to see him as an easy source of cash rather than a person of value. Meanwhile, Elena, watching from afar, felt a pang of guilt. She had given Carlos the money out of love. Yet, it was clear that her well-intentioned gift had unintended consequences. Did I do the right thing? She wondered. Elena's neighbor, Don Javier, noticed her growing concern and offered her some wisdom over a cup of coffee. "Sometimes," he said gently, "giving too much is like overwatering a plant. Instead of helping it grow, you might drown it." Carlos didn't just need money, he needed the skills to manage it and the opportunity to earn his own success. These words hit Elena like a thunderbolt. She realized she had focused so much on providing for her son that she had overlooked the importance of teaching him how to provide for himself. A deeper problem: the loss of purpose. The real tragedy of Carlos's story wasn't the dwindling bank account. It was the loss of his purpose. Without a job or meaningful goals, Carlos's days blurred into one another. He began to feel a gnawing emptiness, a sense that his life lacked direction. Psychologist Abraham Maslow famously said, "If the only tool you have is a hammer, you tend to see every problem as a nail." In Carlos's case, his new tool was money, and it became his answer to everything. Need motivation? Buy something new. Feel lonely? Throw a party. But none of these quick fixes addressed the deeper issue: the need for personal growth and fulfillment. Purpose, after all, is what gives life its richness. It's the satisfaction of setting a goal and achieving it, the pride of overcoming obstacles, and the joy of contributing something meaningful to the world. Without these, even the wealthiest among us can feel impoverished. A new perspective: teaching instead of giving. Elena began to reflect on what she could have done differently. She thought of the old adage, "Give a man a fish, and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime." What if, instead of handing Carlos a lump sum of money, she had invested in his growth? She could have encouraged him to take financial literacy courses, fostered his entrepreneurial spirit, or even started a small business with him. These actions wouldn't just have provided financial support, they would have equipped Carlos with the skills and mindset to thrive independently. Warren Buffett, one of the world's most successful investors, once said, "I will leave my children enough money so that they can do anything, but not so much that they can do nothing." This philosophy struck a chord with Elena. She realized that true generosity isn't about removing all obstacles from your child's path. It's about giving them the tools to navigate those obstacles on their own. A path forward, turning the curse into a blessing. Determined to make things right, Elena had an honest conversation with Carlos. She admitted her mistake and expressed her desire to help him regain his sense of purpose. Together, they devised a plan. Carlos would enroll in a financial management course and begin volunteering at a local nonprofit to reconnect with the value of work and contribution. It wasn't an easy road. There were moments of frustration and setbacks, but slowly, Carlos began to rebuild his confidence. He discovered a passion for community service and eventually started a non-profit organization dedicated to helping underprivileged youth gain financial literacy. Through this journey, Carlos not only found his purpose but also developed a deeper appreciation for his mother's love and wisdom. And Elena learned that the greatest gift she could give her children wasn't money. It was the ability to stand on their own 2 feet. A lesson for all parents. Carlos's story is a powerful reminder that love, when expressed through unchecked generosity, can sometimes do more harm than good. It's not about withholding support, it's about providing the right kind of support. If you're a parent, ask yourself, are you giving your children the tools to build their own future, or are you trying to build it for them? Are you providing a safety net, or are you creating a gilded cage? The richest inheritance you can leave your children isn't money or property. It's resilience, independence, and the confidence to face life's challenges head on. As the philosopher Seneca wisely said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." Let us remember that true love doesn't shield our children from hardship. It prepares them to overcome it. By teaching them to fish rather than giving them a fish, we empower them to live lives full of purpose, meaning, and joy. The burden of gifted property. When generosity becomes a weight. Elena, like any loving parent, wanted to secure her children's happiness and future. In her heart, she believed that giving Anna, her middle child, the family's cherished beach house, would be the perfect gift. The house, perched by the ocean with its sunlit balconies and serene views, had been a haven of family memories for decades. She imagined Anna enjoying long, relaxing afternoons by the waves, hosting her own family, and carrying on the tradition of joy the house had always represented. When Elena handed over the keys to Anna, her daughter's excitement was palpable. "Oh, Mom, thank you. This is incredible," Anna exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with dreams of summer gatherings and peaceful mornings by the shore. For a moment, Elena felt she had made the perfect choice, believing she had ensured Anna's happiness. But reality, as it often does, soon revealed a different story. The hidden costs of generosity. Owning a property isn't just about the joy it brings, it's about the responsibilities it demands. As the first few months passed, Anna's excitement began to wane, replaced by a growing sense of stress. There were the annual property taxes to contend with, unexpected plumbing repairs, and the constant upkeep required to maintain the house in good condition. What initially seemed like a dream soon turned into a financial and emotional burden. Anna found herself sacrificing weekends to deal with contractors, dipping into her savings to cover unforeseen expenses, and lying awake at night worrying about the mounting costs. The beach house, once a source of joy, began to feel like an anchor dragging her down. Anna wasn't alone in this struggle. This scenario is far more common than one might think. Many families experience similar challenges when inheriting property. A survey by the American Real Estate Association revealed that 40% of families who inherit real estate report significant conflicts over maintenance, usage, or ownership. One stark example is the Martinez family. After their patriarch passed away, he left his beloved countryside home to his children. What seemed like a heartfelt gesture of love turned into a battlefield of disputes. Who would take on the repairs? Who would pay for the upkeep? Should they sell it? Or should someone move in? The siblings, once close, found themselves at odds, their relationship strained under the weight of the house's demands. Family dinners that once echoed with laughter now ended in slammed doors and cold silences. Elena watched Anna struggle and began to question her decision. Had she truly given her daughter a gift, or had she unknowingly handed her a burden disguised as one? Lessons from the heart. Through her own reflection and conversations with her neighbor, Don Javier, Elena began to understand a profound truth. Generosity, without careful planning and understanding, can lead to unintended consequences. Property, while valuable, is not always the blessing it appears to be. The true gift lies not in the physical asset itself, but in the preparation and partnership that ensures the recipient can handle the responsibility. For example, rather than simply transferring ownership of the house, Elena could have involved Anna in the decision-making process. Together, they might have explored options such as 1. Selling the property and splitting the proceeds, allowing Anna to invest in something she truly wanted. 2. Transforming the house into a rental property, creating a source of passive income while sharing maintenance responsibilities. 3. Setting up a family trust or fund to cover ongoing expenses, ensuring the house didn't become a financial drain. These collaborative approaches would not only have mitigated Anna's stress, but also strengthened their bond as mother and daughter. The bigger picture, a new kind of generosity. What if Elena had used this opportunity to teach Anna about financial literacy and long-term planning? Instead of focusing solely on the gift itself, Elena could have fostered a deeper understanding of ownership, responsibility, and decision-making. This way, the house would have been more than just a material possession. It would have been a vehicle for growth and independence. As Warren Buffett wisely said, "I will leave enough money for my children to do something, but not so much that they do nothing." This principle applies to property as well. True generosity isn't about making life effortless for your children. It's about equipping them with the tools, knowledge, and resilience to thrive. Moving forward, a shift in perspective. For Anna, the beach house eventually became a turning point. With Elena's support, she decided to rent out the property during peak seasons, generating enough income to cover taxes and maintenance. This decision not only alleviated her financial burden, but also taught her valuable lessons in budgeting and property management. Over time, Anna regained her appreciation for the house, seeing it not as a burden, but as an asset she had learned to manage. For Elena, the experience was a humbling reminder of the importance of thoughtful giving. She realized that her role as a parent wasn't just to provide, but to guide, ensuring that her children had the skills and confidence to handle what they were given. A message to parents everywhere. Elena's story is a testament to the complexities of parental generosity. Before giving your children a significant gift, whether it's money, property, or anything else, take a step back and ask yourself, are they prepared for the responsibilities that come with it? Have I involved them in the decision-making process? Am I giving them the tools to succeed, or simply handing them something they may not be ready for? Remember, the greatest gift you can give your children isn't wealth or property. It's the ability to navigate life with confidence, independence, and wisdom. As parents, our love is best expressed not through lavish gestures, but through the lessons and support that empower our children to flourish on their own. Fourth, the subtle harm of unsolicited advice. Elena, like many loving parents, often found herself offering advice to her children, eager to share her wisdom and guide them through life's challenges. Her intentions were pure. She wanted to protect them, ensure their success, and help them avoid the mistakes she had made in her own life. But over time, what began as helpful suggestions started to feel like constant criticism to her children. Her well-meaning words were unintentionally driving them away. A family drifting apart. Luis, her youngest, was the first to voice his frustration. "Why can't you just trust me to figure things out, Mom?" he asked one evening after yet another unsolicited suggestion about his career choices. Elena was taken aback. She didn't see her advice as a lack of trust, but as a way to show her care. Yet, Luis felt overshadowed, especially when compared to his siblings, Anna and Carlos. Anna, her middle child and the one Elena often held up as an example, began to pull away. Once close, Anna now avoided long conversations, fearing they would inevitably turn into a list of suggestions for improving her life. "Mom, I know you mean well, but sometimes it feels like you don't think I can handle things on my own," Anna confessed during a rare heart-to-heart. Carlos, the eldest, chose a different approach. He shut down entirely. His responses became monosyllabic, his calls infrequent. To Elena, he seemed indifferent. But the truth was more painful. Carlos had started to dread his interactions with her, worried they would turn into lectures about what he should do differently. The psychological toll of unsolicited advice. Dr. Maria Martinez, a renowned psychologist, explains, unsolicited advice can carry an unintended message. I don't trust your ability to make the right decisions. Over time, this can create feelings of resentment and erode trust in the relationship. This phenomenon is particularly common in parent-child dynamics, where parents often feel a strong urge to guide and protect. However, as children grow into adults, they seek autonomy and respect. Constantly offering advice, even with the best intentions, can feel patronizing and undermine their confidence. Research from the University of Michigan reveals that young adults who feel their autonomy is respected report higher levels of satisfaction in their family relationships. Conversely, When they feel micromanaged, it fosters frustration and distance, a dynamic Elena was beginning to recognize in her own family. A turning point. The realization hit Elena hard one Sunday evening when she hosted a family dinner. Only Carlos showed up. When she asked about Anna and Luis, Carlos hesitated before admitting, "Mom, they don't feel like coming because they don't want to hear more advice." It was a moment of heartbreak for Elena. She had always envisioned her role as the glue that held her family together, but instead, she was becoming the wedge driving them apart. Determined to change, she sought guidance from her neighbor, Don Javier, whose own children seemed to adore him. His advice was simple but profound. Sometimes, the best advice is no advice at all. Just listen. A new approach. Elena began practicing the art of active listening. The next time Anna called to vent about a stressful work project, instead of offering solutions, Elena asked, "How do you feel about it?" When Luis mentioned he was considering a major career move, instead of telling him what to do, she asked, "What do you think would be the best approach?" At first, this shift felt unnatural. Elena was used to jumping in with solutions, but she soon noticed a change in her children's responses. Anna started sharing more openly, appreciating the space to work through her thoughts without judgment. Luis began seeking her out for conversations, valuing her as a sounding board rather than a critic. With Carlos, the transformation was slower, but no less meaningful. One evening, after weeks of guarded conversations, he surprised Elena by calling her to discuss a personal dilemma. "Mom, I really value your perspective," he said. For Elena, those words were a gift, proof that her efforts to rebuild trust were working. The power of questions. Elena learned that the key to meaningful communication wasn't in giving advice, but in asking thoughtful questions that encouraged reflection and independence. Questions like, "What do you think is the best solution? How does this situation make you feel? What are your priorities right now?" These inquiries conveyed respect for her children's autonomy and invited them to take ownership of their decisions. Over time, her children grew more confident and independent, and the emotional distance between them began to fade. A family reconnected. The change in Elena's approach transformed her relationships. Family dinners became occasions for genuine connection rather than a battleground of unsolicited suggestions. Anna, once guarded, shared stories about her work with enthusiasm. Luis opened up about his creative pursuits, and Carlos expressed gratitude for the space Elena had given him to navigate his own challenges. A lesson for all parents. Elena's journey underscores an important truth. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is to step back and trust your children to find their own way. By listening instead of advising, parents can foster a sense of respect and independence that strengthens the parent-child bond. As the philosopher Khalil Gibran wisely observed, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself." True love means giving them the freedom to grow, fail, and ultimately succeed on their own terms. For Elena, the reward was clear: a deeper, more meaningful connection with her children and the joy of watching them flourish. Sometimes, the best advice is simply being there to listen. 5. The subtle damage of comparisons and expectations. Elena, like many well-meaning parents, often made comparisons among her children without realizing the impact her words had. She thought she was encouraging them, nudging them to improve. Yet, her comments inadvertently planted seeds of resentment and insecurity. The tension beneath the surface. At first, the comparison seemed harmless. "Luis, why can't you be more organized like Anna?" she'd say with a sigh while tidying up his scattered belongings. Or, "Carlos had a job when he was your age," she'd remark offhandedly during dinner. Elena didn't notice the flicker of hurt in Luis's eyes when she said those things, nor did she catch Anna's discomfort as she felt the weight of being the perfect one. Carlos, ever the stoic eldest child, kept his feelings hidden, but deep down, he grew tired of being held as the standard against which his siblings were measured. One evening, during what Elena hoped would be a pleasant family dinner, the tension boiled over. Luis, usually quiet and reserved, suddenly slammed his fork onto his plate and burst into tears. Why is Anna always the perfect one and Carlos the successful one? What about me? Am I just the family's failure? The room fell silent. Anna stared at her lap. Carlos looked away, and Elena sat frozen, her heart sinking as she realized the damage her words had caused. A painful wake-up call. That night, Elena replayed Luis's words in her mind. She hadn't intended to hurt him or any of her children. Her comparisons were meant to motivate, not discourage. But she realized now that her words had done more harm than good. Dr. Abraham Maslow, a renowned psychologist, once said, "The healthiest way to raise a child is to help them develop their individuality." Elena recognized that she had failed in this regard. By focusing on what her children weren't, she had overlooked the unique strengths and qualities that made each of them special. The ripple effect of comparisons research from the University of Illinois confirms that frequent comparisons among siblings can lead to long-term emotional damage. Children subjected to such remarks often grow up feeling inadequate, anxious, and resentful, not only toward their parents but also toward their siblings. This creates a toxic dynamic that can take years to mend. Elena's children were no exception. Anna felt immense pressure to maintain her perfect image, leading to frequent bouts of anxiety. Carlos, burdened by the expectation to always succeed, grew distant, afraid of showing vulnerability. Luis, the creative one, felt like an outsider, believing he could never measure up. A new approach. Determined to heal the rift in her family, Elena sought advice from a family counselor. She learned the importance of specific praise, acknowledging each child's individual strengths without drawing comparisons. She started small, weaving affirmations into everyday conversations. "Carlos, I admire your perseverance in landing a job you're passionate about." "Anna, your ability to manage your time is truly impressive." "Luis, your creativity always amazes me. Your artwork brings so much joy to our home." At first, her children were skeptical. They had grown accustomed to hearing critiques disguised as advice. But over time, Elena's sincerity began to shine through. Luis started sharing his latest painting projects with pride. Anna opened up about her struggles, feeling less pressure to be perfect. Carlos, encouraged by the positive reinforcement, began mentoring Luis in navigating career challenges. The power of individuality. Elena also made a conscious effort to spend one-on-one time with each child, tailored to their interests. She joined Anna for coffee dates to discuss her busy schedule, accompanied Carlos on walks where they brainstormed his business ideas, and painted alongside Luis in his art studio. These moments allowed her to reconnect with her children on a deeper level. She no longer saw them as a collective unit, but as individuals, each with their own dreams, fears, and strengths. The family dinners that were once tense and silent became opportunities for laughter and support. A lesson for every parent. Elena's journey highlights a crucial truth. Comparisons and unrealistic expectations can erode the very relationships we hold dear. Every child is unique, with their own path to walk. By celebrating their individuality, parents can foster a sense of self-worth and strengthen family bonds. As the philosopher Seneca wisely said, "Treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you." Elena embraced this wisdom, treating each child with the respect and recognition they deserved. The garden of family parenting, Elena realized, is like tending a garden. Each flower requires its own space, sunlight, and care to bloom. By nurturing her children's individuality, she created an environment where they could grow together without overshadowing one another. If you've ever found yourself comparing your children, or even being compared yourself, remember Elena's story. Celebrate what makes each person unique, and you'll create a family dynamic that thrives on love, respect, and understanding. 6. Rediscovering herself. The transformational journey of Elena. Elena had always been a woman devoted to her family. For years, her days were consumed with the endless cycle of caring for her children and ensuring their needs were met. But somewhere along the way, she had lost sight of her own dreams, her own sense of self. It wasn't until her lifelong friend Hazel stopped by one sunny afternoon that Elena began to understand the profound truth she had been avoiding. A friend's gentle wisdom. Hazel arrived with her usual infectious energy, carrying a freshly baked apple pie. But as she looked at Elena, her smile faded. "Elena, you don't look like yourself anymore," Hazel said, concern etched across her face. "What's going on?" At first, Elena tried to brush it off with a forced smile and a dismissive wave. But Hazel persisted, and before long, Elena found herself pouring out her heart. She spoke of the exhaustion, the sense of invisibility, and the aching realization that she no longer knew who she was outside of her role as a caregiver. Hazel listened patiently, then reached across the table and squeezed Elena's hand. "You've given so much of yourself to others, but have you stopped to ask what you need?" she said gently. "Elena, love isn't about sacrificing who you are. Your children will be happier when they see you living as your true self." A seed of change. Hazel's words planted a seed in Elena's heart, a tiny flicker of hope she hadn't felt in years. "Start small," Hazel advised. "Take a morning walk in the park, sign up for that writing class you've always dreamed of, or spend an afternoon doing something just for you. Each little step will help you reclaim your space." That evening, as Elena lay in bed, she couldn't stop thinking about Hazel's advice. She remembered how much she had once loved storytelling, how the written word had been her sanctuary in her younger years. She decided then and there to take a step, just one, to reconnect with the person she used to be. For the first steps, the very next morning, Elena laced up her walking shoes and headed to the park. At first, guilt tugged at her. Shouldn't she be at home making breakfast or tidying up? But as she walked beneath the canopy of trees, the cool morning air brushing against her face, she felt an unexpected sense of peace. It was as if the world had slowed down, allowing her a moment to breathe and reflect. Encouraged by this small victory, Elena signed up for a creative writing class at the local community center. Sitting among a group of strangers, she felt a wave of nervousness. "What if I've forgotten how to write?" she thought. But as she put pen to paper, the words began to flow. She wrote about her childhood, her struggles, and the journey of rediscovering herself. Each story she crafted felt like a piece of herself being stitched back together, a renewed sense of purpose. Over time, those small steps grew into a larger transformation. Elena began to carve out time each day for the things that brought her joy. She reconnected with old friends, joined a book club, and even tried her hand at painting. With each new activity, she felt her energy returning and her spirit reigniting. This newfound independence had a ripple effect on her family. Her children, who had grown accustomed to seeing her as their ever-reliable caregiver, were surprised and inspired by the changes in their mother. They began to ask her about her writing class and admired the short stories she shared. Her grandchildren, once used to seeing her tired and worn out, now saw a grandmother who was vibrant and full of life. The power of independence. Elena's journey wasn't just emotional, it was physical too. She felt more energized, less stressed, and even noticed that she was sleeping better at night. Research from Stanford University shows that older adults who maintain their independence often experience better mental and physical health. Elena was living proof of this. Each small step she took for herself felt like reclaiming a piece of her youth. But the most profound change was in the way Elena viewed herself. For the first time in years, she didn't feel defined by her roles as a mother or grandmother. She was Elena, a woman with dreams, passions, and a life of her own. Message for us all. Elena's story reminds us that it's never too late to rediscover yourself. Independence isn't about distancing yourself from your loved ones. It's about finding a way to thrive alongside them. When you nurture your own happiness, you bring the best version of yourself to the people you love. So take that first step. Go for that walk, join that class, or pick up that hobby you've been putting off. Each small act of self-care is a reminder that your life is valuable, meaningful, and uniquely yours. As Elena often says now, rediscovering yourself isn't about starting over. It's about finally becoming who you were always meant to be. 7. The ultimate lesson. A journey of love, growth, and rediscovery. Rediscovering love in a new light. For years, Elena had believed that being a good mother meant sacrificing everything for her children. She cooked, cleaned, solved their problems, and put their needs above her own. She thought this was the ultimate expression of love, but as time passed, she realized that by doing everything for them, she was unintentionally holding them back from learning independence, resilience, and self-confidence. It was a quiet evening after a particularly challenging day that Elena found herself reflecting on her journey. Sitting in her favorite rocking chair, journal in hand, she began to write about her transformation. The words flowed freely, each sentence a testament to her newfound understanding. A moment of clarity. One memory stood out vividly in her mind. It was the day her youngest son, Carlos, cooked dinner for the family. Once dependent on her for every meal, Carlos had taken it upon himself to learn a new skill. The joy and pride on his face as he presented his creation were unforgettable. "Mom, I never realized how much fun cooking could be," he said, his eyes sparkling with excitement. Elena's heart swelled with pride. In that moment, she understood that stepping back and allowing her children to navigate their own paths didn't mean she loved them any less. It meant she trusted them to grow. Strengthening family bonds. Elena's decision to reclaim her independence had an unexpected ripple effect on her family. Her daughter, Anna, who had once felt the pressure of being the perfect child, began to open up about her own struggles. "Mom, seeing you take that writing class made me realize I've been afraid to pursue my own dreams," Anna admitted one day. Encouraged by her mother's example, Anna decided to leave her high-stress corporate job to start her own consulting business. It was a risky move, but one that brought her immense satisfaction and balance. Meanwhile, Luis, the artist of the family, started performing at local events, confident in his creative abilities. Family dinners, once filled with tension and unspoken expectations, became lively and joyful gatherings. Conversation shifted from complaints and comparisons to stories of growth and discovery. The house echoed with laughter and genuine connection, a far cry from the strained relationships of the past. The gift of self-discovery. Elena also found joy in her own pursuits. Her creative writing class became a sanctuary where she could express her thoughts and feelings. She wrote stories about her childhood, her family, and the lessons she had learned. Her classmates marveled at her talent, and their encouragement reignited a passion she had long buried. Morning walks in the park became a cherished ritual, giving her time to reflect and recharge. She even took up gardening, transforming her backyard into a vibrant oasis of flowers and vegetables. Each new hobby was a reminder that life at any age is full of possibilities. A message for us. All Elena's story is a testament to the power of balance, independence, and love. She learned that the greatest gift she could give her children wasn't a spotless home or a solution to every problem. It was the confidence to face challenges and the freedom to chase their own dreams. As parents, it's easy to fall into the trap of doing too much, thinking it's an act of love. But true love lies in stepping back, offering guidance when needed, and trusting your children to find their own way. Living fully, joyfully, and purposefully. Elena's transformation wasn't just about improving her family's dynamics. It was about reclaiming her own happiness. She became a living example of what it means to live fully, joyfully, and purposefully. Her energy and enthusiasm for life inspired those around her, creating a ripple effect of positivity and growth. If you find yourself resonating with Elena's journey, take a moment to reflect on your own life. Are you giving yourself the care and attention you deserve? Are you allowing your children the space to grow and thrive? Remember, a happy and fulfilled you is the greatest gift you can give to your family and to yourself. So, take that first step. Sign up for that class, go for that walk, or pick up that hobby you've been putting off. As Elena discovered, it's never too late to start anew. Life is a journey, and the most beautiful chapters are the ones where you truly embrace who you are. Elena's final lesson: love deeply, but don't lose yourself in the process. Equip your loved ones to stand tall, and you'll find that they will lift you up in return. Thank you for watching. If you found this video inspiring, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more uplifting content. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated. Your support means the world to us.